Hey, great Thursday evening. It is a beautiful evening in the city of Cuernavaca, Mexico. And it's nice and fresh and a very, very pretty, picturesque kind of town. Uh, Never thought that I'd be in Cuernavaca, but I am in Cuernavaca. So we'll see what happens. Actually, I struggled a little bit to get here because it's so far away from the airport. Cuernavaca has no airport, so I literally had to fly into to Mexico City. I flew into Mexico City, and then the quickest transport was taxi, and that was a little bit on the expensive side because I had to drive 2 hours to get to where I was going to be at. On my drive up here, actually, I said, you know what? Maybe I need to just turn around and go back home because I still am not feeling 100%, but I am feeling a little bit better than I was yesterday, the day before, and this past weekend.
I'm sure
But
it's every day that the antibiotics get a chance to work that you'll continue to feel better. Hopefully, enjoy your trip more and more.
well, I hope so. Well, it's trippy because I saw my dentist yesterday, and he found the problem. It's a little cavity that's in the back of my the last molar. So it's very hard to brush back there. And he just said that food accumulated and it caused the infection, which caused the infection all over. And so what happens is they gave me that clamidocin or something. I can't remember what it was. And he says that what that did, it was pushing out the infection, but because it weakens the
Your immune
defenses of
system.
this area. Yeah.
Mhm.
So because it weakens it, that's why I was getting all these like
Fever
fever
blisters.
blisters. Yeah, but I could actually
Fever
feel.
blisters are always scary to have. Even when you have a purpose, it's like important to explain like why you have a fever blister so people don't think you have herpes.
Well, I mean, even if I had herpes, I mean, I mean,
But it's like
it'd be
always insecure, just like
yeah,
even if there's like a reason to have it, it's just like
yeah.
fever
But
blisters.
this one, I mean, this didn't come from putting it in my mouth where it shouldn't be. It
Mm,
came, which
from
could
the
have been the
infection. The
yeah,
infection.
it came in the infection, and something that I noticed today is that today I actually went to the restroom, and I think that helped because like all that junk came out, and I couldn't remember back when was the last time I'd been to the restroom. So I
This is
think,
also very dangerous.
huh?
This is also very dangerous. That's another
Yeah,
type of infection that's going to
yeah.
happen.
So I think that all that was in there, and now it's slowly pouring out, and all from all sides, and so I'm hoping to be a lot better come this weekend because yeah,
Mhm.
1 week with this crap is too much.
Mhm.
And I'm sure everyone out there is appreciating all this great information.
Oh, of course, every day.
Mr. Castro, primero es su salud. Cuídese, una infección es peligrosa. They told me that a couple of people actually made mention that because of where it's at, an infection here, you could die from it. Yeah,
It goes straight to the brain, huh?
it's crazy. And a couple of people said that. Go like, wow. Actually, an individual that's a nurse told me that he had a friend that got an infection and didn't take care of it, and all of a sudden it did wind up killing him, which is kind of
Well,
crazy.
we take advantage of all this, like all the antibiotics and just like how easy it is to go to the doctor when we're sick and figure out what's wrong and then, start the treatment. People 100 years ago were easily dying from infection, access to medical care. I mean, people complain like we don't have enough access, but here in the United States, there's easy access to any doctor when you need antibiotics. But infections are serious and you can easily die from any infection that you don't take care of.
Yeah,
And so yeah, antibiotics are really important, and it's something to take serious. even
Well, I'm
though,
glad. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm glad that I'm glad that I started treating it as soon as I felt the need to. And again, very appreciative with Valley Med Urgent Care. They did a great job. And I feel that I'm getting better, but we'll see. Tonight I feel a lot better than I had been feeling actually this afternoon. So we'll see. Let me say that uh, in regards to Mary's comment, Mr. Amigo has been canceled. I think it hasn't been canceled. I think it was postponed. What's happening is the Mr. Amigo Association, and people, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. What they decided to do was move the Mr. Amigo celebration away from Charo Days and
So
have it
there's more
in
events in
August.
the year.
Yeah, in
Yes.
August, no?
Yes.
So,
August.
so it makes no sense, you know?
Well, they asked for hot tax funds.
Yeah.
Mr. Amigo asked for hot tax funds, and they justified requesting the hot tax funds by moving their event to another part of the year to encourage, like, just having more events throughout the year. Although, like, what I felt like when they were trying to find their weekend in August, there's so many other events that are going on throughout the summer. And there were like sometimes it wasn't as easy for them to find a day for the Mr. Amigo. But that's what they did. And part of the reason I believe is to justify their hot tax funds request.
Well, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It makes absolutely no sense. I mean, what how much money did they get? Like 50,000 or
I don't remember exactly, but it was like several tens
75?
of thousands,
Yeah,
several tens of thousands,
I
like.
can't remember if it was 50 or 75. But it makes no sense. These people are so after that little bit of money out there that they
Well,
lose
I
this.
just don't know who comes for Mr. Amigo. They try to justify the beds and heads by saying that people from Mexico and outside are gonna come for the Mr. Amigo event.
Uh, they don't.
But I don't know how they have to justify that. And I think that going forward that the it was suggested that they start tracking actually how many beds and heads that they're bringing to town for these events because I mean that's what the point of the hot tax funds are. That's the point of that money going to those types of events that are specifically geared towards bringing people that'll stay at hotels.
It makes no sense. First of all, to me, it doesn't make any sense because it's part of that culture already. It's part of that Charo Days during that week celebration. That whole week, you've got a whole week. You could do a little bit of everything during that whole week, and you're already dressed up. You know, it doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
But for a long time, Charo Days, as other events here, the spirit of it has gone towards the money and less about the kids and about the people having a good time. And the Charo Days from back in the heyday, you look at them and they look amazing. I mean, there's a couple of groups out there. I think Brownsville Station and other individuals that put up these memory pictures of what Charo Days used to be like,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just so amazing.
Well,
The
even I remember back in high school, just it was like a different feeling surrounding Charo Days. It was just like more nostalgic, more family oriented, like you were saying. Even the the oh, what is the Sombrero Fest
yeah.
going in there. It's just not even the concerts and how the venue. It would just to hear them talk about their request for hot tax funds and saying how they don't want to change the venue, they don't want to grow it. They just want to keep it how it is. And they want hot tax funds so that they don't have to increase the ticket prices for locals. And so
Well,
I thought, hot tax funds geared for bringing outside tourists to stay at hotels, but they're worried about getting hot tax funds so they
locals.
don't have to raise prices for the locals who are, of course, the poor city in the nation. and then they don't want to change the venue that would accommodate more comfortably more families, more space. I don't understand why they don't move to the sports park or something like that, but it seems like any moving of the venue is not an idea up for consideration. And from what they said at the meeting, they're not interested in actually growing the event. They just
Well,
want to keep it as it is.
I'll tell you why. It's because, again, going back to the money. It's because there's that separation between the orange ticket holders and the blue ticket holders. And look, guys, all you have to do is try to get a VIP ticket to Sombrero Fest, and it's going to be almost impossible for you to do that because the politicos and the orange ticket holders, they already gobbled all those things up. So there's
Mm.
going to be a VIP tent, and you're going to have all the commissioners there, all the board members there, all the individuals from the Port of Brownsville, all the TSC people there, all the St. Joe people. Those are the people that are going to be in the VIP tent, and they're up there on a little platform, so they can see all the blue ticket holders, all the peasants walking by with their 2, 3 basotes of beer and the big old turkey legs, and then they laugh and they have a good time. And again, the whole issue is the separation between the orange and the blue ticket holders. They don't want to grow it because they already have their VIP number already counted out, and it's for them. It's not really for us.
Well, also, like, they're not interested in selling more VIP tickets. They're interested in keeping everything to the limited number and the size that it currently is. And so, of course, with the way that things are maintained, there's no room for more people. There's no
Yeah.
room for more VIPs. There's no room for more tickets.
The parking around Sombrero Fest, it's a mess. I mean, you're talking
Yeah,
about cars getting banged, dinged up. I mean, you're talking about individuals out there, blocking off the little spaces in front of
yeah,
their
the
street,
charging.
and then charging you $20 to park in front of what should be a free parking spot anyway. It's just a disaster. It's a recipe for destruction. And
Well,
I,
I think a lot of events that are actually being put on downtown are becoming like over capacity. I tried to go to the boo at the zoo and we were going to be early. And I swear parking was all the way to the courthouse. I said, we're not going to the boo at the zoo because we're 30 minutes early and we have to park at the courthouse. And that's not happening.
no,
And so when all the events are filled to capacity, it's just not fun anymore.
no. No, it's a mess, and and considering that there's a lot of things out there that are still being
Right.
cordoned off and blocked off for COVID purposes, COVID reasons. It makes absolutely no sense that they have no it's the inkling to actually consider, you know, segregating, separating, or moving or changing things in the things that are niche to them. But downtown, there is no parking downtown either. And I don't know if you saw or this morning show, but I mentioned it how the mayor at his business, had this vehicle towed away that was parked out there in one of his uh,
Mhm.
little spots that he has in front of his restaurant. And look, it was on a day that the restaurant wasn't even open, supposedly. So if that is the case, why do you need those 3, 4 spots out there, blocked off so people can't use them?
I really wonder, like, what is the heart saying at the moment that person decides, I'm going to call to have this this car towed just because I don't want it to be in my parking spot. I don't need that right now, or my business is closed, but just because I can, I'm going to do this. Like, what is in the heart of somebody who's like, I'm going to they're gonna be charged all this money, they're gonna have to pay to get their car out. I mean, once you tow somebody's car, the events that happened, the process for getting that car out of the impound, and it's just like
Horrible.
ruined somebody's day. It's like
Oh,
what?
and finances
Yeah,
and
it
budget.
costs money, hundreds,
A
like five hundred
fortune.
dollars.
A fortune.
Mm-hmm.
That's why that's why I use my scooter. You're not going to see anybody towing away my scooter from anywhere. Mr.
They
Amigo,
might
is it?
go run off with it, but they won't tow it.
Yeah, that's why I'm always holding on to it. Mr. Amigo is not canceled. They're moving it to a different time, a different date. Mr. Castro, we are getting a third hospital. We have been getting DHR for a while now, and I saw the mayor's post where the mayor was out there, you know, patting himself on the back that he was the one that brought DHR here. DHR was here before. It's not the first time that DHR has been in Brownsville.
Mm.
Again, someone can correct
Mhm.
me if I'm wrong. With that said, they've been wanting to come to Brownsville more than anything because Brownsville needs a little bit more in regards to first responders, needs a little bit more in regards to medical care for the number of individuals that live here in the city of Brownsville. Take into consideration for a city of 200 and plus thousand people, two hospitals is definitely not enough. Like six ambulances wasn't ever enough. I mean, I think McAllen has like six hospitals just in that whole little area there.
Mhm.
They got crap loads of hospitals, including the ones in Edinburgh. And this is a town that's much smaller than the city of Brownsville. So, I mean, to all that worked to get the DHR finally down here, congratulations. And again, I'm not saying that the mayor didn't have anything to do with it. I think he's taking a little bit too much credit for it. That is what it is.
Well, I can tell you the hospitals that we do have are a disgrace. The maternity, the women's pavilion at Valley Regional, I mean, it's like almost all the rooms have some part of the wall falling off. Like things are just falling apart. There's no upkeep. It used to be like the great new, nice, clean hospital. It's like worse than Valley Baptist. Valley Baptist right now is like 10 to Valley Regional. I tell you that because Valley Regional, they just really gone
Well,
down. There,
yeah.
it's like I said, in the women's pavilion, the walls are falling apart. So,
Well, it's trippy because I don't know if you remember. I don't know how long you've been here in Brownsville, but we had a hospital all the way down. Was it 802 Zeke? I think it was 802. All the way down to 802, we had a hospital, and I think that was called Valley Regional as well. I'm not sure what that one was called, but
mm,
that one became all ghettoish and closed down. That's what's happening in the Valley Regional. Valley Regional is becoming kind of like on the ghetto side. And it's like one of those. I think like in Dallas, they have that Parkland Hospital or something.
yeah,
That's always
Parkland in South
Parkland.
Dallas. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, by Central Avenue. Yeah, it was way out there, and I mean that one went to crap. I think one of my sisters was born there actually. Uh,
Hmm.
that might explain a lot. That's
It's like
probably
if you
why.
don't have insurance, you go to Parkland.
Yeah,
That's the
something. Yeah, it's Southwest Keys now. Yeah, you're right. So it's trippy because I remember that one was going to ghetto, and again that my sister was born there. I think Jamie was born there, and I think that explains a lot why Jamie is so on the lower side of the intellect scale. But ghetto, and now Valley Regional has become very ghetto, and I'm saying that guys because just this morning I got a mess load of videos that I haven't had an opportunity to see about this patient that was in there that was pressing on that damn button to get attention, and no one went to attend him, and the
I
guy,
believe.
it's crazy, but the guy sent me well, I saw the videos,
Yeah.
and I saw one of them, and I didn't want to see the rest
Oh no.
because it's very gory. It's just like where he's
I don't
leaking
want to see.
blood all over the floor and everywhere else.
Oh no, that's horrifying.
It's horrible. It's
I
horrible,
don't
and
want to see that.
I don't think I want to see the
I
rest of the
believe
videos.
it, but and I don't want to. I don't need to see it.
Well, he wants to file a formal complaint against Valley Regional, and
Well, he
more power.
should.
He should. More power to him, especially because he has the videos to to prove what he was saying. But with that said, he asked me, he goes, "I can I file a complaint?" I said, "Right now I'm in Cuernavaca. Let me get back, and I'll get back with you because at this point in time, you know, I don't want to
You
think
are
about
in
bloody
their
videos."
most vulnerable state in the hospital. Most vulnerable state.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
and when
it's
somebody's there, that's why being a nurse requires so much compassion because you're tending to people that are in their weakest, most vulnerable state. And so when the hospitals are failing in that regard, I mean, it definitely needs to come to the attention of somebody that can make changes.
it's trippy because that you said that because when I had my pandalectomy, which they removed the excess skin, like from one side of my torso to the other side of my torso. I mean, straight across. I mean, uh, the doctor. I went in early in the morning, and I came out in the evening off of anesthesia. And
Mhm.
the doctor said, "Well, you have a choice. You could spend the night here, or you could go home and spend the night at home." And I asked. I said, "Doctor, what do you recommend?" He says, "Go home." He said,
Ooh,
"Go home."
that's telling. That
Yeah,
is telling.
he says, "Look," he goes, "there's no greater place where you could get an infection than inside a hospital. Plus,
That's true.
you have a big old cut from one side to the other. There's a greater chance of you getting infection." So I said,
Mm,
"I'm going home."
yes.
so
Listen
so
to the doctor.
I went home. I mean, a guy was saying, I wouldn't stay here." I'm going like, "You wouldn't stay here. I'm not going to stay here."
No way. Get me out of here.
So I was gone. My dad had an
Will you
appointment
let
at
me
11 a.m.
drive?
Well, I no, actually, I couldn't drive for a whole week.
Yeah, they wouldn't let you drive.
My dad had an appointment. It was kind of a crazy story because I actually fell that night. It's a crazy story. Well,
Maybe you shouldn't be at the hospital.
I actually passed out because I'm so stupid. My dad had an appointment at 11 a.m. and he came out at 2 p.m. because doctor was not on time at Valley Baptist. Damn.
That's not uncommon. And really, like a 4 hour wait. I mean, I know that there are some people that wait for doctors like 2, 3 hours. That's like common.
Super common, unfortunately. Valley Regional is only worried about billing and making the most money they can. I used to work there. Valley Baptist is a whole lot cleaner, and
Yeah.
staff is real nice.
Yeah, yeah. Valley Baptist right now is like really doing a whole lot better. I say since the pandemic, there are like many times that I and other people that I know visited the hospital, both of them. Every every story coming out of Valley Original was horrifying. Just like people like leaving because they thought they were gonna die. They walking out of the hospital because they literally didn't turn on the oxygen machine. I mean, just like
Horrible stuff.
yeah,
Well,
it's
one of the things that we mentioned was how sometimes doctors take forever to get there. You know, you had one of those experiences today, Ashley. You were there at some ethics committee hearing.
Mhm.
How did it go today?
So today was really interesting. Um, one, it lasted forever. Two, it's taken from August to now, from the time that I filed the complaint till now to finish the hearing. And so it was like how long it took, which was several hours, and how long the whole process took. It's like reflective that it's not organized, um, and not efficient, the process. But yeah, so basically, we sat up and presented our side. My complaint was against Commissioner Roy for partaking in a conversation with the Children's Museum and their ongoing internal problems with Daniel Molstad and the happenings after his arrest. And they last night actually sent me an email from the secretary's office they limited me. They told me that I was only going to be able to speak about these 2 months that were clarified as the allegation, which was between February and April. He partook in these discussions, and by participating in those discussions, it was an improper relationship. And they did ultimately dismiss the complaint, and basically, I'm gonna wait for their explanation why they dismissed it. I honestly, um, I'm not really sure, because throughout the time that we had the hearing, there was a couple of the chairman or the committee members that kept bringing up questions and information that had nothing to do pertaining to my complaint. And I feel like some of those things really distracted from the focus. I try to stay focused. I try to bring us back to focus several times, but it was just really unorganized.
Well, it's crazy. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not completely surprised.
I know
I'm
you're
just,
not surprised. You told me that this was going to happen.
yeah, you always want to think and believe that there's going to be a little bit of transparency and a little bit of change, a little way of doing things the right way instead of the old-fashioned way. But one of the things that I've shared, and I've shared this with Susan and with other individuals in different little groups, is these guys, they dick you around as much as they can. They do the squirrel tactic. They, sometimes make you feel like you're actually going somewhere. Actually, you're going, hello?
Yes,
When
I'm here.
actually you're
You're
going
freezing up a
nowhere
little bit.
and nothing gets nothing productive, nothing that benefits anyone here in the city of Brownsville. It's unfortunate, but
What I feel is like they're trying
hello,
to.
am I in now?
Yeah, you're in. I feel like
Can you hear me?
your video is frozen, but I can hear you. So there you go. So what I feel, they mentioned David Merrill at the end. He made a short statement. He said, the ethics commission, it failed, and they're trying to do it again, and they're trying to clarify the process and make it more efficient, even though at this point it takes like 5 months to do a complaint from beginning to end, and that's not efficient and it's not okay. But he said that they're learning, but then they dismiss the complaint.
Hello,
And yes, you're there. Can you hear me now?
hello, hello, hello.
Mhm. So they dismissed the complaint. Can you hear me, Erasmo? Because if not, I'm going to just
Hello,
keep
hello,
talking.
hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Ah, did I freeze out or did you freeze out?
You froze.
Yeah, typical. Uh,
It's okay.
it was dismissed because you only had hearsay, no proof.
Actually, that's not true, because they have the text message, and the proof, what was he participated and acted in on, because of that participation in a conversation with the Children's Museum, and he acted in different ways. One was contacting a news reporter, two was researching my social media and sharing that with them in the group, and three was the audit request and the clean background chat. And the idea is that these communications and this participation in that discussion is seemingly an act of impropriety because he has financial, indirectly and directly financial connections to this organization.
Yeah.
And that is what
Well,
was
let me
the complaint. So,
let me say this, and I'm not going to respond to Zeke because it wasn't directed to me. But let me say this, guys. Anyone out there who thinks that Daniel Moset was hired without interjection from someone is either naive or completely is a part of the corrupt political machine. There is absolutely no way that Daniel Moset should have been hired to that position there at the Children's Museum. And
well,
I say
Mr.
that
Stapleton called it out like it is. He called it nepotism. That's what
100%.
Mr. Stapleton said tonight. He said, well, it was a nepotism hire. And that's what it was. And nobody, it was also made clear tonight that Felipe Peña, the executive director of the Children's Museum, has not made consistent statements about several different things. And because he chose not to show up and chose not to be, under oath, what he says cannot be trusted because it's not consistent. And so when he says anything like what was Daniel's real position at the museum, there's news reports and that show that he has a different title, a title of a pavilion manager. And for him, he's just trying to be like, nothing happened here. Like, oh, he was only a front desk clerk. Nothing happened here. Don't look over here. And so it's it just can't be trusted. And that was also made clear tonight.
Well, it's very simple, guys. You've got a kid that comes in, and again, no offense to gringos out there, to white people. You got a white individual coming in from Austin, Texas, has been here 2, 3 months, and all of a sudden gets a job that 6,000 other kids that actually went to school here, have spent all their life here, would have probably wanted to have. And he gets hired, and then you come to find out that he's in related to the director of the MIDI something or other, and that the commissioners are on this board, and that there's all these connections. And the only thing that makes sense is that the individual was hired as a favor, as a political favor. I don't care what your status is in regards to I believe you, don't believe you. It's got to stop somewhere. We've got to stop the hiring of the individuals for favors, because at the end of the day it steals an opportunity to have the most qualified individuals in these key positions,
Mm-hmm.
especially in a position that is going to oversee children of very the young age.
Well, they
And
spoke about it tonight, and basically, there was an outside lawyer that came in, and he said that he spoke with Felipe and asked him how he was hired, and they said that he was up against three other applicants. That he went through the same application process, that they interviewed him, and because he was 23, he was more qualified than the 18-year-olds who had applied because he was older. And they didn't even really understand why he wanted to work at the museum because they only pay minimum wage. Obviously, he wanted to work at the museum to be close to kids. Okay. Obviously, that's why he wanted to work at the museum for minimum wage at 23 years old. But they said that tonight. They said that tonight. They said he was up against three other people, and that's how the Children's Museum explained why they hired him.
I agree, Daniel's the devil, and he should be locked up for life, not 7 years. I should understand. Okay, I'm not going to make
It's
Ashley's
not
argument.
an argument. It's a complaint that I made against Roy. It was a very narrow complaint. It didn't have anything to do with the actual hiring of Daniel Molstad at the museum, it had to do with a group chat where Daniel's mom, Felipe Peña, the museum, Roy, and Dinah Molstad all participated in a group chat, and they discussed the employment and ongoing problems that he needed to resolve or actions that he needed to fix that problem with Daniel. And Roy participated in that conversation. He should not have been acting and participating in helping the interest of the Children's Museum regarding anything with Daniel Molstad.
Yeah,
It's improper.
and I think that one of the things that and that I would hope would have come out of these hearings today was that there was a special little task force to investigate why this individual was hired, because as we all know as we all know right now, Daniel Mostav was distributing and harboring child pornography, uh, sex videos of children being molested as early as the age of 6 months.
3 to 6 months.
3 to 6 months. So this, this, this is my opinion. This is my opinion, Zeke. This was an opening for there to be an investigation as to why this kid was hired, why he was placed at the Children's Museum, why other individuals weren't given a fair shake
Well,
to
the only
obtain the
reason
job.
why I'm even involved in this complaint right now, Zeke, let me say, the only reason I'm involved is because I I wanted to ask questions. And I did. I created a flyer, and the flyer was spoken about tonight. The flyer was very simple. It showed Daniel in both ways that he maintained his life as a normal man, and it showed him in drag. Tonight, Roy tried to make me out like a bigot because he only mentioned that I only put Daniel in drag on the flyer. No, I put Daniel in all the ways that he looks as a man when he is working at the museum, and also in the other way. All so everybody in his life, anybody who knows who he is, can answer the question that I put on that flyer. And on that flyer, I asked, "Who is Daniel Molstad?" He worked at the Children's Museum from 2019 to 2022. Who is this guy?
Yeah.
That's all I
Well,
asked.
well, my concern, and I actually had conversations with members of the Children's Museum board, and we had a good conversation. And my question to them is, why was this kid kept hidden for so long? Why is it that it has to come out? Why hasn't the Children's Museum come out with a statement to make sure that every single individual out there that might have had their children close to this individual, it does not appear on one of those videos, one of those sex tapes that this guy was out there distributing internationally, because it wasn't just here locally, it was going everywhere. So again, my concern is, why didn't someone greater than this ethics hearing, because I knew what the result was going to be. I knew
Yeah.
what the result. I knew what the result was going to be. But why didn't someone in law enforcement use that opening in order to include other individuals who might have placed our children in danger by hiring someone who could have been considered questionable by the way that they were hired only to serve as a favor. I'm still that. Yes, Daniel also should have said, but what sir could torture babies? Well, yeah. And let me tell you, I don't
Honestly,
agree.
and I can't. I honestly, I have a hard time bringing myself to imagine what actually. How can you exploit sexploitate a baby. I can't, my mind cannot go. I'm just like incapable of like how, what is actually, what can be done to this baby. I'm incapable. But the idea is that when we're talking about this subject, we're talking about somebody who has like crossed a line that people, no, most normal people can't cross. They
Uh,
don't cross that line. They don't have that imagination. And the seriousness of why any parent should be allowed to question the safety of any child that's been exposed to somebody that's crossed that line. What they did to me is the improper, the what's so wrong is that I all I did was start asking questions about a pedophile who you was into watching little babies get sexploited, and all I did was want to ask questions, and look at where I am now. I've been retaliated against. I've had a city commissioner try to humiliate me on multiple podcasts. And I even had to sit in his presence tonight and listen to him with his closing statement, revel in the idea that he gets to go and retaliate against somebody else. And I can promise you that everybody that watched and was in the room when Commissioner Roy got so excited about finding out who the next person he was going to retaliate against, which was somebody he and the Midi Foundation have already retaliated against. And so he's a very disturbed person. This right now, whatever happened tonight, is going to be an opportunity for him to continue to retaliate against people in the community, and anybody who has a complaint against him or thinks, just anything. He is really takes a lot of joy and pleasure in that. His voice today, it changed to another pitch. He got so excited at the opportunity to go and hurt somebody else. It's disturbing.
yeah. Again, I just really wish that it would have been. I consider it a missed opportunity for someone in our community, local law enforcement, state law enforcement, or federal law enforcement, to actually investigate through that little opening in regards to why did this happen, how did this individual get the position he got, working where there were children as young as 1 to 2 years old running around, and many of the times, and we know our people, many of the times unsupervised, in a place where you've got an individual that's out there taking pictures, video, and distributing them all over the world, and horrible videos. Going to be a big prize for someone in prison. They're going to
I
have
hope
fun with it.
so. I really, I say I hope so, and maybe that's like bad, but I know that God has his plan. He is the ultimate judge, and he is the one that's all knowing. And he's also the one that's the most merciful and most forgiving. And so whatever happens to Daniel, it's already been decided.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on, Ashley. 45 minutes are up, and my internet's about to probably die. Este, well, thanks for going out there and using your right as a citizen of Brownsville to ask questions. Ashley should go complain to the federal judge and the FBI Sexual Task Force. They have her answers, not
Well,
Roy or the city.
Daniel's in jail. He's been sentenced, and so my thing is that I have been told, and I did speak with the prosecutor. I've been told and assured that no kids from the museum were a part of the videos that he had on his phone. So he had 200 videos. Now he worked there for a long time. They investigated him for 5 months. They found 200 videos. Of those 200 videos, they did not include any children from our museum or our town. And so I am assured with that, as far as like when it comes to Daniel and what, and his crimes that he's been, guilty and serving time for. As far as like Roy and complaining to the city, I didn't complain to Roy. I actually tried to reach out and complain to the mayor, along with 8 other people that reached out to him about Daniel Molstad, and he refused to make a mayoral statement about it. And so, it's important that this not be something that deters people from participating.
Yeah.
It's important that people continue to participate and continue to challenge this system. We are here to make the whole, car move, right? The bicycle move, or the wheels move, everything moves because everybody is a working part. And our part is to vote, and our part is to participate. And so, you know, there are 3 more complaints that
Yeah.
Roy is going to have to sit through, 3 more hearings. And
Then
so
justice.
it will
Then
come. It will
yeah.
come for him.
Then justice was served. The FBI did the job. Absolutely not. Justice was not served, Zeke. Justice was not served because we still don't have any answers.
We
Because
don't
no
know.
one, no,
Yeah.
we still don't have the answers in regards to why
No,
this monster was placed in a position where your children, my children,
we're
your
compromised.
grandchildren were compromised,
Hmm.
could have been victims. So no, this is not justice. I want all the answers. I want to know why this individual got the position that he got, that should have gone to 10,000 other individuals here in the city of Brownsville. That's not justice, man. 7 years isn't justice. 25 years of supervised things, that isn't justice for this kid. And it shouldn't stop there. We should have answers in regards to why he was placed there, how he got the position. And we all know how he got the position, man. Anyone out there that does not believe that he was placed there as a favor is either blind or se quieren hacer blind. Come on, man. You know how the kid got hired. We know how the kid got hired. Preach, my sister. Amen. Guys, I'm out. I'm in Cuernavaca. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock in the morning to do a quick morning show. Thank you, Ashley. And keep on letting us know what the next complaints turn up or what happens. It's
Okay.
it's happening. It's a. I agree. He should get cash. Yes, and whoever was a part of getting him that job, you tú te bañas. Whoever had a part in getting him that job needs to be prosecuted. Guys, have a great day. Social distance, face covering, hand sanitizer. Still know that, guys. Be good to each other. Continue to be good to me. God bless. Bye, Ash.
Good night.